What's going on, guys? VitalSyntax here, and I wanted to talk to you about the release of Crysis 3, which is coming up very soon on February 19th, which is just a couple weeks away, actually less than a couple weeks away, and I've already pre-ordered it on Origin, and I am extremely excited for it. First of all, I wanted to talk about the patch that recently came out for the beta and some of the information they talked about of updating the game for the multiplayer component. I'm probably going to do a full video that goes over the different patch notes, although there's really not a whole lot of things that they've changed. Maybe once they release another one of those updates towards or closer towards the release of the full game, I might do a video that goes over some of the changes and balances they do to weapons and the nanosuit modifications and things like that, because I think there's a lot of things that need to be fixed and tweaked about the game. And it's actually really nice to see them actually caring, because with Crysis 2 there was basically zero support for the post-launch multiplayer, and I'm still kind of iffy and worried that we might not get the full support that I'm wanting, but at least we're seeing some support, which is a good sign. But anyway, I wanted to talk about playthroughs. So recently I tried to do a playthrough for Dead Space 3 on my channel. I only uploaded the first part, and it probably wasn't up for a very long time, so I'm sure most of my subscribers haven't even seen it or even know that I uploaded it. And I decided to take it down real fast just because I felt like it didn't really fit my target audience. I think most of the people that are subscribed to my channel are either subscribed for DayZ, Battlefield 3, and hopefully some people for Crysis 3, because we're going to be doing that quite a bit over the next couple weeks and months. So I didn't feel like, a lot of my viewers would really enjoy watching Dead Space 3, because I don't think a lot of my viewers are going to be playing Dead Space 3. So I'm probably not going to do, and I've done this in the past. I actually did a playthrough of Max Payne 3 as well, and a lot of people didn't watch that, and there were very, very few people that did, and I didn't want to spam people's inbox. So I've kind of learned from my mistake that I'm probably not going to do any more playthroughs of games that I don't think fit my target audience. But there's exceptions. I think Crysis 3 is going to be an exception. I think the next Battlefield, Battlefield 4, the single player for that is going to be an exception. Whatever, big first-person shooter that's multiplayer I focus on my channel, I'm probably going to do a playthrough of the single player. But I will make it in a friendly manner to people that don't want to see that. So don't worry. It's not going to be 10-minute videos and I upload 300 of them and just spam your inbox. So what I've decided to do is I've tried to do it in the most civil way and most unannoying way for people that don't want to see the playthrough. I'm going to do either 30 or 45-minute videos, and the gameplay or the single player is probably going to be 7 to 10 hours. So we're talking less than 10 videos. We're talking somewhere between 7 and maybe 9 videos in total for. Actually, maybe even more than that, but less than 10 is what I'll aim for. So you guys won't get spammed with your inbox. But if there's people out there that want to see it, then you'll be able to see it, because I for one am extremely excited about the single player. I've seen a couple of the recent trailers, especially the most recent one. I'll put a link in the description to the one that I'm specifically talking about, because I don't know what the title is. I think it's The Hunt On or something like that. And it had the soundtrack of it was one of the new Muse songs, which I'm a huge Muse fan. I actually haven't listened to their newest album yet, which I kind of forgot about, so I'll have to listen to that now that I've kind of reminded myself about it. But I really love that trailer. It was I've watched it, no joke, at least 10 times, maybe even upwards of 20. Then that's how excited I am for the single player. And I've also seen some videos from IGN and GameSpot where they're showing off some of the single player gameplay. It's kind of an exclusive first look, because nobody else really has the game except for those review websites. And from the looks of it, they've changed a lot from Crysis 2. It seems like they're actually going back to the roots of Crysis 1 and doing stuff that fans want to see. So the first thing is the storyline, right? Because with Crysis 2, there was a huge gap between Crysis 1 and Crysis 2. I mean, the aliens completely changed. They went from these frozen tentacle things to these slimy purple-red things, and now they're kind of humanoid shaped in the way they attack you and things like that. I really do like the aliens in Halo, or not in Halo, in Crysis 2. But it was a huge change, and it also went from there's these aliens on island, and you have a nanosuit, and it switched suddenly over to they're invading New York City. What the heck happened? How did that get there? And that's something a lot of people complained about with Crysis 2, including myself. And there was really lacking a storyline in Crysis 2. What is going on in this game? I thought it was a blast to play. I thought it was really cool to look at, but the storyline was pretty bad. So I think what they've done with Crysis 3 from the videos and interviews and things like that, and we'll have to wait to see the full reviews once the game's released. It seems like they're kind of going back to a more open world type of approach. It's not going to be completely open like the island from Crysis 1, but it's not going to be completely narrow like Crysis 2's, like, you know, one path to get to your objective. It's going to be your objective's over there. Here's a playground. Figure out how to get there. Do it in the way you want. Here's a bunch of vertical gameplay. You can flank around this way. You can use stealth a lot more in a lot more situations, especially now you have the bow and arrow where you don't have to break stealth at all. So I think they're incorporating a lot of new stealth mechanics, which is really exciting to see. And they're doing a lot more open world type of gameplay, although it's not going to be a completely open world game. And they're also focusing a lot on the storyline. I've heard that they're doing also kind of trying to fill in some of the gaps that, you know, we saw with Crysis 1 to Crysis 2 and Crysis 2 to Crysis 3 by having these optional kind of sideline stories that you don't have to read into. But if you're interested in the story, which I actually am quite interested in the story, you can kind of read into that stuff. So anyway, that's enough talking about the single player. I'm extremely excited for it, as you guys can probably tell. But what you guys can expect from me for Crysis 3 once it's released is, first and foremost, a playthrough. I'll try and keep it as short and as precise and not try and spam your inboxes, because I know, you know, a lot of my viewers don't want to see or don't want to have a playthrough either because they're going to play themselves, or maybe they just don't really enjoy that type of gameplay. But don't worry, there's going to be a lot of multiplayer stuff. I'm sure I'm going to do, you know, first impression reviews for people that, you know, just want to get a quick look at the game, or a full review where if you want to really, if you're worried about spending $60 and it being a piece of crap. Or I might talk about, you know, tips and tricks, showing you what combinations of perks or nanosuit upgrades with weapons and things like that. So a lot of content coming for Crysis 3. I'm incredibly excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.